expensive college process a little bit cheaper. So you learn about how to apply to college, universities, community colleges, and building your student art portfolio if you're interested in art school, completing financial aid applications, so the keys being the FAFSA, for undocumented and DACA protected students, the California Dream Act, and also the key California Scholarship, Cal Grant. And we'll also just be talking about scholarships in general. If you're interested in, applying for scholarships, getting that free money, and you're not sure where to find them, how to apply for them, what sort of it takes to be successful and get, a successful essay, a successful application. We'll be talking through all of that as well. Next slide. Cool. So we'll start off with your options in California if you're interested in attending a four-year school in-state. California luckily has really, really fantastic options, both in terms of systems of schools, number of schools, and financial aid programs. So starting from the top, you're probably all familiar with the University of California system, UCLA, Berkeley, Riverside, Irvine, Davis, etc. Big schools. Super popular with students who are residents and offer significantly reduced tuition for students who are in California. Also, the California State University system, CSU Long Beach, Fullerton, Dominguez Hills, you might be familiar with. For both of these systems of schools, there's one application for each respectively, but one application, the UC apply and then CSU apply, both of them you can apply to as many CSUs as you're interested in, all with one application. So you're not filling out, let's say you want to apply to like 5 UCs and 5 CSUs. You do 2 total for both systems, which is a nice way to save time. And of course, there are a bunch of private universities in California, your USCs, Pepperdine, USF, etc. Smaller campuses, smaller classes. Tuition can be higher, but also you'll find that many of these colleges have great financial aid programs. So if you're interested in one of those private universities, don't shy away from them just because of the upfront cost. Financial aid can cover a ton of that, and we'll talk more about how you can get your hands on some of that.
Next slide. Great. So of course, our community colleges, and you're lucky to be in California because California has the largest number of campuses to choose from. They have the largest community college system. So there's 116 campuses to choose from. So you can find the right fit for you. We love community colleges because it's a really great way to save money, right? And you can stay close to home or at least find a program that's tailored to your interests. And, the admissions process is a little bit faster too, which is always nice. There's tons of different types of campuses. So if you're looking for like a large community college or something a little smaller, they do have that all in California as well. Also love the idea of having an open admissions process. So you apply and you're basically guaranteed an in, which is super amazing as long as you submit your application in time. This is also a really great opportunity for you to then take those credits that you've had during your community college and then roll them over to a 4-year university. So if you start out at a community college, you can end up at a 4-year, and there's nothing wrong with starting at community college first, especially if you love the idea of saving some money. And then for anyone who's interested in going to a community college, for eligible students, you can access the California College Promise. And so this is a fantastic opportunity for those who are interested in attending a community college. You can attend tuition free. Now there's going to be an application process for you to complete in order to see if you are eligible for it. But the great thing is this is offered at all 116 campuses, and there's a strong likelihood that you'll be able to connect to that. So again, that covers your tuition, which is a huge bulk of the cost of going to school. So that's a really great perk to go into a community college, especially in California, since this isn't available in every state across the nation. This is specific to California. Next slide.
Cool. So this is everything you need to know. Well, not everything, but from a super high level about how to apply to college. Some applications will let you apply, like we mentioned, the UC application to all UC schools. It's one application. do it one time, you've applied to UC Berkeley, Irvine, Riverside, Davis, etc. Same thing with the Cal State systems apply, their mass apply system. And similarly, the Common App, if you're interested in attending schools out of state, outside of California, and even in California with private universities, the Common App is your ticket to being able to easily apply to as many schools as you're interested in, as long as they participate and are a Common App member. You fill out one application, put your personal info in there, fill out the requisite essays. Sometimes there are Common App essays, but there are also, in certain cases, essays that are tied to certain universities. So you'll fill out your Common App, fill out the Common App essays, and let's say you're applying to, the University of Washington through the Common App, they might ask for their own essay. So don't be totally surprised if you end up writing a few extra essays, but in general, the Common App saves you a ton of time. And they actually offer fee waivers specific to the Common App. So if you're worried about, oh man, I'm applying to all these colleges and each time they're dinging me with like a $50, $75 fee because those fees are expensive, the Common App is a good way to, if you're eligible, receive additional fee waivers. But the typical application requirements for applying to college is to obviously provide information about yourself, both just sort of your identity and contact info, super basic stuff. Application essays, which are increasingly, especially during COVID times, a huge part of your application. And just to plug, we can help with that. Get School offers a free college essay review. So there's a link that we'll share, but whether you're drafting your essays or have a first draft or even a final draft, however many essays you have, submit them to us and we'll review them for free and provide actionable feedback and suggestions to help you, help your essay shine, really. You'll also need your GPA transcripts, the SAT and ACT scores, just standardized test scores. Will note, this is sort of a lesser known fact, is a recent ruling. CSU and UC schools are not accepting the SAT or ACT for the 2021 and 2022 application cycles. A court ruled that during COVID, because it is so hard to access an SAT or ACT test, they can't legally accept SAT or ACT scores because it's not fair to students who can't access tests. So if you were like me and you did not enjoy the SAT or ACT, you are in luck if you're applying to a CSU or USC school. There are also a ton of test optional colleges, especially and increasingly right now because of the reasons I mentioned. It's hard to get to an SAT test during COVID. It's a pandemic. So look out for test optional schools. I think we have a resource on how to identify which one of those there are, which we'll be sharing with you. And then lastly, letters of recommendation. So talking to teachers, counselors that you're close with and who can speak to your, they know you and they know your skills as a student, writing letters of recommendation for you.
And to those who are just joining us right now, all of the information that we're presenting, we are recording this webinar, so you'll have access to that. And also we'll have direct links to all of the resources in this PowerPoint that we will share with you as well. But to continue what David was chatting about, so of course, it's application season and these applications for college have deadlines. So please, if you are interested in going to the University of California, just know that you have until November 30th. So at the end of this month, you must apply by 11:59 p.m. Pacific in order for your application to be accepted for the next school year. If anyone is interested in attending in Cal State, you have until December 4th. So still a little bit more time, but again, we're coming down to the last 2 to 3 weeks before the applications are due. So please act with a sense of urgency to get these applications filled out and submitted. Private colleges, they have a series of different deadlines, but the bulk of them are going to close January 15th. So that will give you a little bit of runway to do that. I know applying to college could, there's some financial factors to that too, as David mentioned that, paying $70 per application may be expensive, But the great thing is both with Cal State and with the UC system is that you can apply for fee waivers. And the
Mhm.
great thing is when you are applying to your applications for both the UC and the Cal State system, within that application itself will allow you to apply for those fee waivers so that you don't have to pay to apply to up to 4 colleges for each of those systems. So something to keep in mind. I know that $70 per application may sound a little scary, but again, there's fee applications built into your application. So you're going to be totally fine when you apply. Next slide.